welcome to Technology Insights with FTB. I'm joined here today with Andrew Graham, who's a product line director at Integrity Biochem, and we're going to get into his journey, his experience in the oil and gas industry, plus get into Integrity Biochem, as well as some fun chemistry talk and wireline talk, since we're both ex-wireliners, and I don't think you can hang out with some wireline people and not get into the good old days and field day talk. So thank you everybody for joining. We will be going about 30 minutes of Q&A that I have for Andrew here. We're going to get into different technical topics, and then we're going to open the floors for everybody on LinkedIn who's joined. And if you have any questions, we will open up the floor then. So we'll go until about 11:45. So just setting the ground. So hey, Andrew, thank you for joining me today. It's really nice to see you again.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So tell the listeners a little bit more about your experience, your oil and gas industry, expertise, and a little bit background on yourself before we get into the rest of the talk.
Sure. Chemical engineer, born and raised in Bradenton, Florida. I know my mom, new to LinkedIn, is watching. So hi, Mom.
Nice.
And go Gators. Chemical engineer by training. Kind of thought to myself, during that process that maybe the traditional, process engineering thing wasn't going to be my, desire for employment. Kind of started talking to some people in the oil and gas industry, and got hooked up with Schlumberger when they came to campus, and went on the look-see visit. Kind of saw real quickly what I'd be a part of, and it was interesting. It was intimidating, all that kind of stuff. Told my fiance, who's been my wife for 24 years now, to pack light because we're going to Laredo, and we kind of never looked back. Went to Laredo, Texas, was doing reservoir evaluation, and spent a few winters, as Floridians say, in Wyoming. Very, very cold. That's where, we had our first daughter in Laredo and our second in Wyoming. So, while I was out there doing evaluations, my wife was there with two young children, taking them to the Walmart and having to doll them up looking like space suits. It was so cold, and, got our opportunity to get out of the field, and, kind of wanted to get into the client facing roles, and worked in San Antonio for about a decade, and saw the organic shales, start to rise, to kind of go from the where do we drill our next well, unconventional, vertical wells for natural gas, and then started really getting into the Eagle Ford, and starting to build the treasure map for that, first with natural gas, and then really started to get focused on oil. Then got the opportunity in 2015, kind of right when the price of oil was crashing, to go up to Dallas, and spent 10 years about 5 years in the Dallas office. Right. So had a little brief stint in midstream, where I could kind of tell that upstream oil and gas was my true passion. Was able to get back into the upstream world. I was talking to some folks, and had a buddy named Chad Hall that I called him to get his opinion on whether I should maybe look into the chemical space. He said, "Well, why don't you come work with us?" And I said, "Well, that sounds like a plan." So I celebrated my 2-year anniversary with the company yesterday. So
oh, nice. Congrats.
That company, I guess, probably as everybody knows from the description, is Integrity Biochem. We're a chemical manufacturer in Crescent, Texas, which is just southwest of Fort Worth and the Dallas Metroplex there. So I live up in McKinney, but handle product line director roles. So kind of look after our chemicals, and see where they move the needle, see where we need to make improvements, and just constantly iterate on that to try to get our clients the best products that are fit for purpose possible, right? So.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing, Andrew. Over 2 decades of pure industry experience. So it's really cool to learn from you today, especially because even though I'm a chemical engineer like yourself, I wouldn't say chemistry is my strongest suit. And definitely a place I need to develop for sure. So tell us a little bit before we get into chemistry and some of the products, the origins and the start of Integrity Biochem. When did you start? Give me a little bit of the history, the story, and then a little bit of the Crescent facility, which is over 65 acres and state-of-the-art facility.
Sure. And it always, it wasn't, day one, 65 acres, the facility we have today. It was a process, it was a group of, oh, there we go. I'm back. It was a group of men that really thought that they could functionalize chemistry and make fit for purpose products to help the oil and gas industry, help the frac companies produce make better wells for their clients. Right. A couple of key chemicals that they identified early on in the process that they thought they could functionalize and make things like the clay controls and surfactants that we make today. So they start off, modest beginnings, as a small footprint where it's grown to state-of-the-art laboratories, manufacturing facilities, trucking, where we're shipping daily to the major basins. We're a few hours from a majority of the major basins that are making oil and natural gas today, and we're helping clients make better wells, keep their wells clean, keep the barriers of flow down. And we're looking forward to making new disruptive technologies that help the industry recover more oil, and that's what we're laser focused on.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit more, because I know in general you have different kinds of chemical companies. So some that just manufacture it, and then other people white label it and put their logo on it and kind of ship it, and then they create a really great business out of that. Then there's people who don't manufacture but are still in the space. Do you guys play in both sides? You manufacture and you also go out and have your own products on site, correct?
Yeah, well, we manufacture products for distributors as well as frac companies. They can take our products as finished products. They can also take our products and blend them and make the combination products, or make products that we haven't necessarily thought of. We bring the the know-how, the manufacturing capabilities to our primary products, and we're always up to innovating with with our partners to come up with that next generation chemical that meets the needs of the industry. Right. So we're always looking to partner. We're always looking to kind of an entrepreneurial spirit to find that next needle mover.
Gotcha. And then I think something that was really cool when I looked into more on Integrity Biochem's website, et cetera, is that you guys are not just in oil and gas. You're across different industries like mining, agriculture, and personal care, which I thought was really cool, into just products that you put on your skin and on your face and et cetera.
Absolutely, yeah. So our chemicals are fairly flexible. Oil and gas was the primary focus of the company when we were founded, but we have a lot of bio-friendly backbones to our products that allow us to go into other verticals. So some of these same types of chemicals are the same types of chemicals that are necessary for personal care, and then things like mining. So it gives you an idea of that not all these frac chemicals are the end of the
As
world.
bad as they say.
These
Yeah.
are these are the same technologies that are used to in your everyday personal care as well. Right?
I thought that was so interesting. Question on just what part of the life cycle of a well are you guys working in, or really creating products for? Because I know when we talk about chemicals, it could really be in the drilling space, in the fracking space, in the production space, in the artificial lift side of the industry. So Tell us exactly where you play in and what areas do you focus in?
Sure. Well, we'd like to be in every place that it makes sense, but I would say that right now we are primarily focused in the initial stages of well completion, uh, with an increasing focus on the enhanced oil recovery, which will happen a little bit later on down the line. But our surfactants are used to lower the pressures, lower the capillary pressures that are restricting flow of oil in these unconventional plays, in these very tight formations, as you know from running all those CMRs in the Permian. The very low permeability, very small pore sizes, and we have hydrocarbon that is trapped at a much higher rate than in your more conventional pore systems. So it might need a little coaxing to get out. Our clay controls are used to really keep a competent matrix behind and not have any clay products swell, or any clay component of your rock swell and cause permeability or fines migration, things like that. And then scale and corrosion. There's a wide variety of bad actors downhole, in the aqueous phase, that if they fall out, you get scale that can plug up your perforations, plug up your tubulars, mess up your surface equipment, restrict flow, rot the pipe, all kinds of things you don't want, right? So we're looking after the rock, oil, and water, and trying to get that out of the well without, as much of it out of the well as possible without, scaling or having, matrix related issues, right? So we're primarily in the frac space, I would say, but we're looking into a lot of different things, and we're our technologies. There's a big push in the industry for enhanced oil recovery because of the low recovery factors of the rock. We could talk about that till I'm blue in the face. But we believe that enhanced oil recovery starts on day one if you do the right things, like add the right surfactant that can get you more oil per foot in the first year of production, or you keep your perforations clean from scale, or you keep your matrix in a more virgin state and get less deterioration, right? And then later on down the road, there are things with the enhanced oil recovery that surfactants are playing an increased portion in there. There was a lot of talk in the previous years about EUR. There is a lot of action in the last year. You see a lot of papers at ERTEC, things like that, where people are talking about, where people were talking about the need for enhancing oil recovery. People are taking action now. I don't know whether it's, because the rig counts are lower, and we need to keep that volume of oil per day that we had gotten used to and done such a great job of growing from essentially nothing to over 12 million barrels a day out of the U.S. And to keep that, we're going to have to increase those recovery factors, or we're going to have to increase the rig count. So so we're interested in all that, and our technologies play very well kind of throughout the well's life cycle.
Gotcha. Okay, I have a lot of questions from what you mentioned, but it was really well said. So first, before I get into the rest, give me a 101 on surfactants. For a lot of people who may not necessarily know beyond the word, how do you make them? What is, I guess, the ingredients, or like what is actually a surfactant? I assume it's a liquid. Is it a powder? Like, I don't know. That'd be helpful.
Sure. I don't know whether I can answer all those questions. I know
Secret sauce.
yeah, some of it's secret, some of it's not my area of expertise. One thing I can tell you is that one of the professors came in and explained, the dean of chemistry came in, or chemical engineering came in explained to us what surfactants were in the materials class that I was in, briefly. I remember a little bit of it, but the main thing is it's a surface active agent. So it's got a hydrophobic and hydrophilic segment on it that align at the interface of a fluid and lower the interfacial tension between those two fluids, or lower the surface tension between a fluid and a solid, like rock. And so they kind of, help two fluids that maybe don't necessarily like each other get a little bit more friendly with each other. And that helps in the aid of hydrocarbon production, because there's, one equation that you might have to learn, and there's a couple things that affect it. There's interfacial tension, there's what's called contact angle, and then there's the size of your pores. And and that goes into the capillary pressure. And so the capillary pressure is basically the kind of the force you have to overcome to get particular fluid flowing. And so, there's some things you can control and other things you can't. If you don't like the size of your pores, you need to go drill somewhere else, because, as we
You can't
know,
change them probably. Like,
you can't manipulate geology,
yeah.
right? So you got what you got in that respect. But what you can manipulate is, things like the interfacial tension and the contact angle. In the contact angle, if you have a approximate contact angle of 90 degrees, that lowers the capillary pressure significantly, because it's cosine of that angle, and that drives that towards zero. And then anything you can do to lower the natural interfacial tension between oil and water, or your fluids, pressure. So that's a direct reduction. If you cut that in half, your capillary pressure is cut in half, right? So that these allow the oil and the water to get a little bit more happy, and allow for flow. And that equates, if you have the right surfactant, to appreciable oil and gas recovery. While you have your surfactant helping the process.
Gotcha. And then, so when you are pumping, I guess, surfactants or injecting them into the well during the frac process, how are you doing that? Do you have like a blender on site? Do you mesh
Yeah.
with the fracking equipment? How do you get into the well?
Sure. So yes, so we are pumped at a rate of, say, 1 gallon for every 1,000 gallons of frac fluid, right? So we have ISOs on location, or ISOs on location. Think large trucks with filled with surfactant that can be pumped. The frac company takes it from there, hooks it up, and doses it properly, as per the kind of the pre-job planning, and is blended along with the sand, other chemicals, and friction reducer, and the rest is history, right? And then we would, if those ISOs need to be refilled, that's kind of the magic of the oil field trucking, where we start doing that as necessary. But we have ISOs out on these frac jobs, in the Permian and elsewhere, daily, right?
Gotcha. And then, I guess, are you pumping the surfactants from the start of the frac job to all the way till the end, at all, pretty much 24/7 on site? You need surfactants downhole, and then when you're done the frac, you don't need surfactants in the well again, or do you still need to put maybe some sort of other products that you offer?
Sure. So I mean, we're pumping, during the main stages of the frac job, right? You might bullhead in with some acid prior to pumping your main stage. So if wireline guns aren't down there, or we're not pumping acid, hopefully our surfactants, clay controls, and scale inhibitors would be going in during the main stages of the job. So it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so tell me a little bit about the Crescent facility. Any highlights? I know Jamie and I are gonna go in July to go check it out, but for those who don't have the opportunity or have never been there, give me some highlights about it. I know it's 65 acres. That's as much as I know, but any other insights on it?
Sure. So we were able to, through the expansion and through the, providing the chemicals for our partners, able to reinvest, and take down a few different neighbors over the years. So we've got a couple of laboratories that one of them is brand new, totally built from scratch. We also have a kind of a headquarters facility where we took over it's actually a directional drilling company's office building that was adjacent, from the Barnett. So we're kind of sitting there right in the heart of the Barnett Shale. I guess I don't want to say corpse, but the rig count isn't huge in the Barnett anymore. But so the buildings are we were able to get a nice facility right next door. So we have ample meeting rooms, things like that. We have a trucking facility right there, right next to us. Then we have all the the manufacturing facilities right there in-house. So it's grown up organically over the years, and it's something that we're really proud of. We can't stress it enough when we talk to people. Hey, why don't you come to Crescent? Why don't you come see us? We want to show our facilities off because I think that when you see our facility, if you've seen other chemical facilities in the oil and gas space, it's pretty shocking, right? Oil and gas chemistry isn't necessarily the same as say IMI. So the personal care or mining. So we're at that standard. With cleanliness, and when you come to our facility, I was blown away from the first day I saw it. And the 2 years I've been here, it's only gotten better. And the people there take incredible pride in what they do and how the place looks at all times, right? So it's something we're really proud of, and and we do a lot of great work there, and we're actively aggressive in figuring out the next products. So we have a lot of smart people that we pulled in over the last couple of years, especially to get to work on that. So we have the labs now to really start figuring out a lot of stuff real quick. My chemistry and chemical engineering might have lapsed a little bit, and I've dusted it off over the last couple of years. But the people that we have working in that facility, the books never got dusty for them, right? So
they breathe, eat
there you
chemistry
go.
every day. Awesome. Okay, well, before we get into questions from the audience, if there are any, please start typing them up, and then I'll moderate and see if there's any. Tell me a little bit about, I don't know, a customer right now that is hearing this and was like, I want to work with Integrity Biochem. What does that process look like? Who should they reach out to? If they do, how long does it take to get chemicals out on location? What does the process look like? Who should they reach out to?
Well, I mean, first of all, they can always call me, and if I'm not the right person, I can find the right person, right? But yeah, I mean, that process looks anything from. I mean, you obviously know that the oil and gas industry is a 24-hour business.
Yeah.
There are times where they say, "Can you get me, an ISO of surfactant to West Texas, and to this location?"
Yesterday.
And yesterday, exactly. And we feel very confident we can do just about anything if given 24 hours, right? We can make it happen quicker. physically we're about, 4 to 6 hours away from the Permian, but we turn things around 24 hours notice. Um, uh, it's very common. Now, that's the oil and gas fire, right? But there, believe it or not, from time to time we do plan things out in the oil and gas industry. So what it looks like to going through the process. I would want to sit down, talk to them about what they're currently doing, what their pain points are, uh, and I know where we're strong, where we're getting nice results, and really get collaborative with them. If there's more time, we like to get samples of the rock, the oil, and the water. Particularly in these unconventionals, unconventional shales or shales or unconventional sands, because every one of these formations is a kind of a unique fingerprint, and it changes uh, quickly. The fingerprint of the oil, the fingerprint of the water, the makeups of both, and then the rock. It's really every situation is fairly unique. We say different keys for different locks, things like that. Metaphors like that. But really, to get consultative on things like that, we can optimize the offering and really get especially like when with things from surfactants, or if you can really tune it in specific to your area's needs. That's where you start really seeing the needle get moved on first year production, which in these unconventionals is huge, because it approaches 50% of the total well production over the life of the well. Comes in those early months. So if you can really influence the production of oil in those early months, you're going to move your needle on your ultimate recovery factors, right? So that if we can properly plan
Mhm.
to, when you pump that frac job, that's the only time you're going to access that rock, from the fracture tip, to the perforation tunnel, right? So it's imperative that you plan, right? We have grown as an industry, and we've grown because we're, deadly at the engineering part of the process. We start off pumping, say, 500 pounds of proppant per foot, and now it's 2,500 pounds of proppant per foot, right? And the recovery factor, or the oil per foot in the first year rises up with it. Well, at some point, you kind of run out of geology, and you run out of spacing, and so other factors get in there where your production per foot in the first year starts to go down, right? I think we're deadly accurate, or deadly focused on the engineering aspect of things, drilling faster, drilling longer laterals, so staying more time in zone, things like that. We've optimized where we're drilling. We're drilling through tier 1 acreage into tier 2 acreage, things like that. But the same amount of focus, and we're fracking 2 and 3 wells at a time. Really getting the cost down on the fracking side. Alternate fuels, local sand, all those fun things that drive down the well cost and make investing in oil and gas a viable option in the United States. But have we done the same amount of focus on the chemical side? I don't believe we have. And I believe that's the step change that we're currently undergoing, to go from factory mode to a more intelligent factory mode. And so that's something that I'm bullish on. It's something that I'm seeing in the industry, and that's exciting.
No, I really like what you mentioned. And I kind of see it in the sense of, have we really gotten the most that we can out of chemistry to really help elevate how we do things? Versus, this is how we always do, we always add this, versus really getting some consultations on well by well basis, and kind of like figuring out how you can get more with some additional chemistry in their well.
Yep. That's what we're about, and that's what we're focused on every day. And we're constantly, looking to interact and fill those gaps. and really get the word out that these types of fluids, in my opinion, I think you'd be crazy in certain formations in West Texas not to pump surfactants. I think that there's clear and compelling evidence that surfactants move the needle, and I'm excited that the word is getting out, and we're gonna make more oil as a nation for it.
I love it. Actually, that was something I was just about to ask you, because this is new to me. How much percentage of wells do you think in the fracking space are using surfactants, let's say in West Texas, and how many aren't? Because to your point, I'm like, I assume everybody's using surfactants, or is it still not a standard across the industry?
Sure, I would say it's more standard or less standard, from client to client, basin to basin. It varies a bit. I would say that on the Midland Basin side, there's a higher surfactant uptake than there is on the Delaware Basin side. I would say in the Midland Basin, it's probably in the 60% of wells are pumped with surfactant, where on the Delaware side, regardless of formation, you're talking about 35-ish% of wells historically were pumped by surfactant. So that's, in my opinion, low. But however, we are seeing more activity in the EOR space, so enhanced oil recovery, where we are taking surfactants on wells that are a little bit older. If they need to go in and get reworked, if they need to put in an ESP or something like that, in at the same time as an acid job, things like that, where we're pumping surfactants down and letting them soak in, and then producing them back, and then seeing the uplift in oil, that well out kicks the bill you get from the acid job, and really moves the needle on enhanced oil recovery. So, not all is lost if you haven't put surfactant in your primary frac job. There are avenues to introducing surfactants, but in my opinion, EUR starts on day one. Pump them in your frac jobs, then I think you'll be better for it.
Yeah, and I think, not that I know what the cost of this usually goes for, but it's kind of similar to our line, where it's like, at the end of the day, how much your well is costing you and your frac job's costing you. This is probably not that big on the P&L at the end of the day, but you can get so much more out of it. So why not give it a shot,
They're one of the few offensive weapons, we have for enhancing oil recovery. I think a lot of things are, when you're trying to prevent scale, or you're trying to keep your matrix, steady, not degrading on your clay side, those are all defensive weapons. But actually physically producing more oil is what you're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
So, if these move the needle, they only have to move the needle marginally to pay for themselves. And, I can tell you that they move the needle more than marginally. If you pair the right surfactant with the right rock, oil, and water, I wouldn't be worried about the bill.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, well, we are about 10 minutes out. I don't think we have any questions, but I wanted to announce it again for those tuning in, if there's any questions that you have for Andrew. And then maybe Andrew, start thinking of anything that maybe I didn't ask you that you would like me to ask you. Maybe I missed something that you really want to drive the point across. I think that would be great.
You know what? If I've gotten everybody with no questions, that's fine by me. I'm surprised my mom didn't have one, but.
I mean, I think you just broke it down so easily for people to digest, and really broke down what y'all do, that maybe that's why.
There you go.
Yeah. Let's give it a few more minutes. But if not, where could people find Integrity Biochem, stay up to date, maybe shout out the LinkedIn, the website, how to contact you?
Yeah, we're on LinkedIn. I'm at agram@integritybiochem.com. Yeah, just drop me a line. I'm on LinkedIn as well, right? So I can get
Are
you
there
direct.
any events that you all are going to be doing soon? I know you were at you did some papers at Eurotech. Anything else coming up?
Um, I mean, we're always at all the events, and of course, we're going to be at the Flipping the Barrel.
Oh yes, you'll
Golf,
be there
golf
tomorrow
event.
at the
Yeah,
golf
so
tournament.
so I'm actually in our office here in Houston. Had a meeting, have another meeting this afternoon, and then heading over to the Flipping the Barrel golf tournament tomorrow. So excited that. So.
Okay, well, Chad Hall has a question.
Oh man, I don't know.
Tough one.
Better be an easy one.
So he says, of all the formations you look at, which one is your favorite right now for surf?
That's an easy one. My wife she's probably listening too. She could answer this one. The second Bone Spring sand. I think the Bone Spring sand in West Texas is kind of the gift that keeps on giving. I think the unconventional sands on both sides of the basin are excellent targets for surfactants. I think that if you go take a look at production with and without surfactants in those areas with public data, I think you can really see some needle movers in those targets.
Awesome. Okay, and I did find one question from Jamie at the top. It was hidden. So she says, there are so many chemical companies. It always confuses me on what is the difference between all the different products that they offer. What do y'all do differently?
Sure. I mean, I think, yeah, when you think about chemical companies, I think you think of frac chemicals. There's obviously a bunch of people that are in that space. The big buzzwords there are friction reducers, which basically when you pump all these chemicals and you need something to basically allow the reduction of that friction along that pipe when you're pumping. That's a huge part of it. So a lot of chemical companies, revolve around that. Then you have all the chemicals that go into frac jobs, where you have scale, biocide, surfactant, clay controls, all things that have very specific jobs to keep the matrix from kind of falling apart and impeding production, to keep scale, corrosion, and microbiological scale to form in your wells, and then surfactants to aid in flows, all the way to the sand mines, all that stuff, and chemicals around that. And then you have your midstream companies that provide some of the same very similar stuff, like scale, biocide, where after you pump all that stuff into the well, you're obviously going to be producing that back, but then you're going to continue to produce hopefully for several years. And at that point, the well doesn't have any of those frac chemicals in it anymore, right? Protecting or enhancing anything. So that's kind of when the production chemicals start to come in, and you try to do similar things through pumping down slowly, dripping in chemicals to coat the well and keep scale and corrosion, things of that nature from forming. And then there's chemicals that help pipelines, and all the way down to the downstream, right? So it's a big world. We're pretty focused on the upstream portion of it, and very early in the well's life, predominantly. Right. So big world, we're part of it, and looking to make our little part of the world better.
Awesome. Okay, we have one last question
from
John Cassiano, and he says, can you share what kind of equipment and tests you can do there at your facility?
Sure. That's a good question. Hey, John, how you doing? John's a good friend of mine from back in my San Antonio days. So we do a wide variety of testing. You send us rock, oil, and water. we can do a wide variety of testing to see how our surfactants, our clay controls will function in with that rock, oil, and water. A lot of roller ovens tests, a lot of to see kind of fines generation with rock for clay control products. And then we have extensive testing to test our surfactants. Where we test for IFT reduction, we test for surface tension, we test contact angle, we test rock. We physically take rock, and we're doing proprietary tests on oil recovery from the rock. Something that we've iterated on over the years. We're bringing in. We brought in a team of we've got 5 PhD scientists on our team now. Constantly developing new tests to try to figure out ways. It's really complicated down there, as with the rock that's less permeable than concrete. So testing's interesting. I think one of the best tests also is when you pumped it, how much oil did it make? And so we're proud of those tests that we've done over the years with our partners as well. And we kind of stand on that as well, right? But we can take a look at your oil, water, and rock, and we have a wide variety of things we can do to test.
Awesome. Well, this was a wonderful discussion, Andrew. Thank you so much. I've learned a ton. So hopefully some of the listeners, like myself, who didn't know a lot about this space, are leaving with some knowledge. And I guess just to wrap up, you can go to www.integritybiochem.com. You can check out their LinkedIn, which is Integrity Biochem. And you can email Andrew if you have any sales questions at agram at solvi.com. Sorry, at integritybiochem.com.
I think they shut that one down a little while ago, but it was agram1 though, but no.
There we go. But agram@integritybiochem.com to reach out to.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. It was so great to see you, Andrew. And
yep.
we'll catch you at the next one.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
Awesome. And please tune in to the next Technology Insights with FTB in 2 weeks, and that will be hosted by Jamie. We will let you know who's coming on next. So see you all next time. Bye.